Let's begin, as we always do, with bringing our attention inward. We withdraw our attention from things of the world and bring our attention into our inner experience, our inner being. And that begins with the space that our body is occupying and what's happening in this space. Mindfulness practices work with our attention. Most of the time during the day, our attention is directed outward. We're scanning the environment for what's going on, potential danger, but also potential connection, some fun maybe. Look at that bird, at the breeze in the trees. So we're always in our daily lives noticing what's happening primarily outside of us. And then our next focus of concentration is often our thoughts. Our thoughts tend to have a lot of pull energy. So if we are tuning into our own experience, it's often through our thoughts, the thoughts that are coming and going in our mind. And that's not a bad thing. It's appropriate and helpful, and that's the way our system works. And the thoughts in our mind aren't the only thing, though. Our bodies are also experiencing our moment-to-moment life. And so when we're doing mindfulness practices, often the first thing that we do is we withdraw that attention from the outside world and we bring it into our body. And we begin to notice what's happening in our body. And our breath. Are we holding our breath? Is our breath even and continuous and serene? If we're looking at thought, which we do, it's more from that perspective of watching what it is that's coming and going. And sometimes we get carried away in a train of thought, of course. And then we bring our attention back. And that's the basic premise of mindfulness, is where do we put our attention? And we withdraw our attention from the external world. And part of the way we do that is we close our eyes so that our visual stimulation is less. Or we soften our gaze. Lots of people do the practice with their eyes open as well. And we feel and sense into what it is that's happening interior in our body. We have the border, the boundary of our body, our skin, between the inside and outside. The skin is rich with sense perceptors, so we're aware of the temperature, of the feeling of our clothes, of textures, especially when we move. But if you had your hand resting on your heart or on your stomach or on your leg, you could also feel that sense of warmth. And after not moving your hand for a minute, all you might really perceive is that sense of warmth. There's a certain sensation in the body that indicates there's one body part touching another one. And we're always interpreting our experience. Our body is like an immense data gathering system. All of these signals coming into the brain, and the brain sorts through millions of impressions every day. And we really only pay attention to the ones that we need to. Anything that might indicate danger gets top priority. And then as we reduce the amount of sensory input by closing our eyes or softening our gaze, turning our attention inward, everything can rest a little bit. But notice your forehead and eyebrows. Let your muscles and your skin soften on the front of your face. Notice the sensation of air in your nostrils. It feels cooler as the air is flowing in and warmer after it's been warmed by our body. There might be that sensation of warmth that you're noticing. And what's happening behind your hand? What's the energy of the heart center? And we don't even have to think of it as a heart center. We could just be putting our attention into that location, the area that's protected by the rib cage. We might be noticing the movement with the breath. There might be some kind of sensation there. And often there are thoughts that come with that. They could be kind of mundane, like thoughts about, oh, the rhythm of my breath seems kind of calm right now, or I notice I'm holding my breath and then we release it. Just an observational stream of thought. And often there are other kinds of thoughts. Some memory might come up, words or pictures. Just continue to observe your experience. You might be working in your heart center, maybe a different energy in the body, whatever you're drawn to. Whatever you're drawn to is fine. We have the direct experiencing and the observation of what we're experiencing. And sometimes thoughts are included in that observation. And let's look at that relationship between our thoughts and the experience. So if you were to bring up an image of yourself right now, as you're sitting, maybe your hand is on their heart, maybe it's resting on your lap. Notice the image of yourself and bring that to mind. You might be able to say something about that image. She looks relaxed, or I can see that I have that tension in my eyebrows, and we let it relax, or whatever the thoughts about the picture are. You could put the picture in a frame. Notice that there's space all around the picture. You could move it to a corner of your vision. You can imagine that the image is overexposed and all you can see is light and shadow. You could imagine yourself sitting in a room and looking at this picture that's sitting on the wall on the other side. And notice that those are stepped back. They're not as intimate when we're looking at an image of something that either happened or didn't happen. We're just looking at colors and shapes. And when we're looking at images, we have some kind of an internal experience of that. So in this case, it might be kind of neutral. We're just looking at this image of ourselves as we're sitting here. If it's an image of something that was traumatic, it's not going to be as neutral. We're going to have more sensations and energies in our body that relate to it. We have all these layers of experience, all of these ways that are happening at the same time. And we're right in the center, in the core of it. We're witnessing from the inside. Even if we're looking at a picture across a room, we're looking at it from the inside. Just to notice that. Does it feel like there's a separation between what you are experiencing and the observation of the experience? There's never any right or wrong answers. We're really just looking. Is there any distance there? Notice where your attention goes. Even if you're noticing you're having thoughts about something else, something in your other, more external life, the experience of that is happening in this moment and right inside your own brain, inside your own experience. We just notice, rest our attention here. And when we stumble across something that we're not very happy about or that feels uncomfortable or too intense, we might sit with it and mine it, see what's going on with that, really attend to that. Or we might shy away from it, just kind of this veering away that we might not even notice. We might find our minds just drifting off somewhere else. This is not a static experience, witnessing. We are creatures of association and of planning and of thinking, as well as of observing and witnessing. of tension as well as relaxation. And as I say the words that we're just about finished the practice, there will be some kind of a response to that. It might be, I wish it had finished earlier. I wish we had more time. When we're finished, I'm going to sit for a while longer. I really would like to get on with my day. There's all kinds of possibilities. But that's just an example of how we always respond to our environment. So take another moment to settle, really experience what's going on in your body right now, your breath, your thoughts, and your sense of who it is that's watching, or what part of you, or is there any separation between what you're experiencing and the observation of that? And then when you're ready, open your eyes.